Broadcasts of HIKI NŌ are made possible by the support of viewers like you. Mahalo, and by Bank of Hawaii Foundation, investing in Hawaii's future by promoting collaboration, critical thinking, and other 21st century skills through HIKI NŌ.
Aloha, I'm Kaina Kalimagascon.
I'm Kiana Cole.
I'm Chavez White Temple.
And I'm Gerald Saleh. We're here in Kalihi on the campus of our school, Farrington High School.
Home base for today's episode of HIKI NŌ, the nation's first statewide student news network.
HIKI NŌ means can do, and you'll see just what students from our team of schools can do.
This episode's team is made up of intermediate and high schools from 4 islands.
From Oahu, we'll hear from Waipahu Intermediate, Waianae Intermediate, Maryknoll School, Sacred Hearts Academy.
From Maui, there's Lokelani Intermediate and HP Baldwin High School.
On the Hawaii Island, we have Hawaii Preparatory Academy.
From Kauai, there's Waimea High School.
On this show, you'll hear from diverse voices from across the island chain,
telling stories that connect communities.
On HIKI NŌ,
Can do.
Before we introduce our first story, we would like to recognize the grant organizations that made HIKI NŌ a reality.
They believe that Hawaii could create the nation's first statewide student news network.
They put their faith in us and said, can do. To them, we say, mahalo.
And now, on with the show.
I'm here in front of Farrington High School in front of this bronze statue called The Seed by Satoru Abe. Satoru Abe graduated from McKinley High School, then later on went to New York to study art. He is a very famous Honolulu-born artist. Next up, we have a video from Hawaii Preparatory Academy about turtle tagging. Next year will be the 25th anniversary of turtle research. Let's see how students help out NOAA scientists.
Sea turtles. These magnificent creatures travel for miles and miles. Their population, once endangered, is now recovering with the help of a group of HBA students led by Mark Rice who strive to make a difference.
The green sea turtle is an endangered species, was listed as threatened actually, so you couldn't work with them unless you were under a federal permit. Well, in 1986 and 87, we met up with George Balaz of the National Marine Fisheries Service, and he had an ongoing tagging program that was throughout the state and also did some tagging here on the Big Island. And so we joined him in 1987 on the first trip with the University of Hawaii. Our main goal here in assisting the National Marine Fisheries Service in their research is to capture and tag green sea turtles and hawksbill turtles here in Hawaii so that we would be able to identify them again if they are ever recaptured.
Well, first we go down to the beach and we capture the turtles, bring them back to the station. We're able to find out the last time we captured them through their pit tags that we inserted through their flippers, and we read those tags upon bringing them on shore.
Of course, in between the capture, the tagging, and so on, we do a lot of what are called morphometrics, or body measurements, so that we know how fast they're growing and what their health status is.
We measure them, weigh them, and check for their health. The first time I grabbed the turtle, it was weird. I had a pet tortoise, which was like that big, and I was expecting it to be like small and light. But it was really heavy. I think the first turtle I got was a 100-pounder.
Programs like the turtle tagging at HPA have greatly helped our world. Don't think you can't make a difference. Just get involved.
And now here's a sports fact about Farrington High School. Our girls varsity basketball team, under head coach Caroline Tutupu, is a 3-time defending OIA champions. And now, from Waimea High School, we have a video about the recent plastic bag ban and its effect on the west side of Kauai. This story also explains the amendment that allows restaurants to be exempt from the law as long as they use biodegradable bags.
Each year, the average American uses 300 to 700 plastic bags. If you tie them all together, it could reach around the globe 760 times. According to an old prophecy, you don't know what you have until you lose it. For the residents of the Westside community here on Kauai, we just lost an everyday useful tool. On any highway of Kauai, you may see the notorious tumbling plastic bag dashing across the roads. These and many other reasons have sparked an interest in the environment as well as sustainability for future generations. This is where the plastic bag ban came into effect.
The plastic bag ban was twofold. One was to limit the amount of plastic in our landfill. There's been an increasing problem with plastics in general, and just the creation of plastics utilizing oil, petroleum products. So number one was just trying to reduce the number of plastic in the landfill. And then the second goal was to reduce the number of plastic that ends up in the ocean.
The ban has not only affected customers from the stores, but small local businesses are now changing up the ways that they have been accustomed to for years.
Before I used to use a plastic bag, which was very convenient, and now I have to use a big paper bag or a cardboard box. So in that way, just how I present them, their product has changed.
With the ban, Kauai residents are now forced to switch from plastic bags to reusable fabric bags and paper bags. In fast food establishments, these bags may still pose health risks to the consumer.
So there was a concern from the food service industry that by forcing the consumers to utilize a reusable bag, you would be risking some of the health issues some of our people out there. So that was the whole purpose of the ban, the amendment. My amendment was simply to exempt the food service establishments from the bill so that they could go out and utilize plastic. But to accommodate the concern for our environment, my amendment will also require the food service establishments to use biodegradable and compostable plastic bags. So I think we satisfy both sides, and I'm hoping that we can get that passed.
The ban has begun a drive to minimize the use of plastic for the Westside community that will eventually protect natural resources and marine life. For the Westside of Kauai, we lost an everyday useful tool, but gained a cleaner environment for future generations. This is Koba from Waimea High School for HIKI NŌ.
If you'd like to comment on this story or anything you see on HIKI NŌ, join the discussion at facebook.com/HIKI NŌ can do, or send us a tweet at twitter.com/HIKI NŌ can do.
Did you know that Lokelani Intermediate in Maui Kihei sometimes reaches temperatures up to 103 degrees? The PE department for the past 20 years has been making and selling shave ice after school. Let's check it out.
Lokelani Intermediate is known for its after-school shave ice. Lokelani shave ice is a tradition that started 20 years ago. Here's how to make Lokelani shave ice. Fill a container with ice cubes. Scoop ice cubes into ice slicer. Turn on ice slicer. Shave ice slowly falls into the catcher bucket. Ladle the first scoop into the paper cone. Gently smooth the surface. Scoop again. Make a nice rounded top. Use a special nozzle to pour the syrup. Pour the syrup from the bottom to the top. Circle twice around the mountain of shave ice. Next is a secret.
Yes, it is to make money, but it's more to keep the students involved after school, because imagine if you have this in your hand. Would you want to end up getting into a fight or anything like that? No, you'll probably end up sitting down and enjoying yourself, on the bench, waiting for the bus to come, and you're going to enjoy your shave ice.
Nohealani Verano Salter, reporting from Lokelani Intermediate for HIKI NŌ.
The first graduating class of Farrington High School in 1939 decided to call our students governors. They also began our school motto, enter to learn, go forth to serve. Our next video is from Maui. Maui is another island that has a plastic bag ban. Students from Baldwin High School did a cool feature about how residents of Maui are finding alternatives to using a plastic bag. Even though we do not have plastic bag ban on Oahu, we can learn a lot from Mauians. Let's take a look.
After the January ban of plastic bags, Maui County sought to find other alternatives to fill the void.
It was much worse. With the trade winds, all these fences all along the outside, the trees, All the litter screens, everything was usually full every day, even though we'd clean it up pretty much every morning. By the end of the day, everything was full again. The public, they used to come in and complain all the time. Nobody's come in. Everybody that does come in is saying, oh, everything's so much cleaner. They look at the fences, the trees, there's not any bags on them. So yeah, there's a big difference.
Some Maui businesses were already prepared for the ban.
We've always had paper bags. We never used plastic before, so we didn't really have to change. As to go along with our mission and our vision for our company, we've always used recyclable bags. But we have one type of reusable bag that we sell. It's made of natural cotton, so it's actually a really good size bag. It's really durable. We call it clothing with a conscience. So it's all about being positive and helping the earth and being eco-friendly.
But it's also forced many Maui businesses and residents to find other alternatives to plastic bags.
We've been asked to take on the cost of the paper bag versus the plastic. The paper bag, the cheapest one that we found is about 8 cents per bag. The plastic, on the other hand, the cost of that was less than a penny.
I always try to remember when I get out of my car to bring in a reusable bag, but if for some reason I forgot, I just carry it out myself or put it into my purse once I have purchased the products.
Although the assumption is that the ban only affects businesses and consumers, the community had to find other alternatives for daily uses.
It makes it very hard to clean up after my dog Marley. We've had to try different things, like picking it up with newspaper and making a little scooper out of the newspaper, but that's kind of hard.
I do travel a lot, and when I travel, what I do, because you can't bring the bags anymore, is like for my shoes, I line the bottom of my suitcase with my shoes, and then I put my jeans and things that are dark clothes on top, and then pack the rest of the way.
As other islands mull over the banning of plastic bags, you can consider some of the alternatives used by Mauians. This is Monica Majano from HP Baldwin High School for HIKI NŌ.
If you'd like to comment on this story or anything you see on HIKI NŌ, join the discussion at facebook.com/HIKI NŌ can do or send us a tweet at twitter.com/HIKI NŌ can do.
Now here's another fun fact about Farrington. Did you know Wallace Ryder Farrington had a son named Joseph Ryder Farrington? Did you know that he led the movement to Hawaii statehood? In 1959, Hawaii became a state. Thanks, Joseph. If you live on the west side of Oahu, you've probably seen the sugar mill smokestacks in Waipahu. While these landmarks represent the roots of Waipahu town and the sugar industry, they have a history that goes hand in hand with Hawaii's Day of Infamy, the Pearl Harbor bombing. While the students of Waipahu Intermediate recently heard a little-known story about these smokestacks, as told by Mr. Goro Arakawa, one of Waipahu's most respected elders.
Uncle Goro Arakawa has lived in Waipahu for 89 years. His family opened up Arakawa's in Waipahu, one of the first stores dedicated to serving the sugar workers.
Little shops came up to provide for the sugar mill workers. They came down and to buy the supplies. Because the plantation stores, they don't carry ethnic foods, right?
Being a part of Waipahu's history, Uncle Goro likes to share stories from the past. One of his favorite stories to talk about is the history behind the sugar mill smokestacks. These smokestacks are very significant to Waipahu's history, but they also served as landmarks for the Japanese planes that bombed Pearl Harbor on December 7, 1941.
It's a monument for the immigrant sugar workers, right? When the war, they bombed Pearl Harbor, after that, they came up, they circled around it, and they headed towards the Eva Marine Air Station. And so it played a significant part in the history of Waipahu.
So what do people actually know about the sugar mill smokestacks?
All I know is it's part of the sugar business where they process the sugar
and it's a very historical place.
I know that the smokestacks are a cultural icon for Waipahu, and when they built the Y, they purposely left it there as a landmark so that all Waipahu could still see the smokestacks.
Many history books do not show or talk about how the Japanese planes came to Waipahu, so not many people know about the smokestacks' history. But through Uncle Goro Arakawa, we are able to learn about a part of history that was not known.
Planes flew from Kahuku and came down Waianae side. We stood there on the roof as a plane came over there, right, and circled around the stack. And we followed the planes going every direction. They were slightly above eye level. We could see their head. We waved at them. They looked at us. They acknowledged, but they didn't wave back. We made sure that the YMCA, when they bought that they would save it for those reasons that we said. And one day we got a call, they said, we're going to save the sugar mill stack.
Looking at these smokestacks, what do you see now? These smokestacks aren't just ordinary smokestacks. They are landmarks that played a part in one of our big and important pieces of history.
I'm here at Farrington High School's amphitheater. This is the area where the Farrington High School's graduation ceremonies are held every year. Maryknoll School students have been doing research about the power of video and its rise in the digital age as an alternate form of communication. Seeing moving pictures definitely has more impact than seeing words or a piece of text. This video contains and analyzes footage from the Kennedy assassination and other powerful images. Let's take a look.
We see video every day. Television, online, our mobile devices. Video is simply everywhere. While we're amazed at the many ways we currently distribute video, Americans have been using videos as a communication tool for over a century. For decades, ordinary people have been using 8mm film and VHS tapes to document their families and their lives. On occasion, our simple video cameras have been used to document history. In the 1960s, America realized the importance of video. It was here in Dallas, Texas, where a single American recorded an event that changed America forever, the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. On November 22, 1963, Abraham Zapruder used a Bell & Howell 8mm camera and a telephoto lens to capture one of America's most shocking moments in video. This famously known footage was shown over and over again as Americans, for the first time, actually saw the fatal shot to their beloved president. From this moment on, videos changed the way in which we tell news and the capacity in which we do so. This moment proved that you didn't have to be an official news broadcaster or journalist to cover national news and events. So whenever you see something worth documenting, don't be afraid to pull out your camera and start shooting. This is Tabitha La'anui from Maryknoll High School for HIKI NŌ.
Sacred Hearts Academy is inspiring young women to seek careers in engineering. They have the chance to practice their problem-solving skills by participating in engineering classes and robotics teams. Let's take a look.
4 years ago, when Governor Linda Lingle challenged all Hawaii schools to have a first robotics team, then freshman Adria Fung never realized how much this program would impact her life.
When I first got involved with robotics, it was interesting because I didn't realize what I was getting myself into. Before robotics, engineering was the furthest thing from my mind, but after experiencing it through robotics, it made it clear that this was my passion.
Fast forward 4 years later to present day. Now senior, Adria Fung is captain of Sacred Hearts Academy's Lancer Robotics, has been accepted into some of the United States' most prominent engineering schools, has been offered an internship with NASA, and most importantly, has discovered that even when faced with the challenge of entering a male-dominated field, it is her aspiration to be a woman engineer.
Being a part of Lance Robotics was so empowering because I could see that all of these women could accomplish these challenges and also do them well. It was not only inspiring, but it also motivated me to want to become an engineer when I grow up.
Through obstacles, challenges, and adversity, Adria Fung shines through.
Being a girl trying to get involved in engineering was challenging, but we had to overcome that stereotype that we were a woman. But the best part was when we were able to accomplish all of the challenges.
The future's looking bright for soon-to-be engineer and world changer Adria Fung. She serves as an inspiration to many, especially girls who want to be engineers. When asked to give one piece of advice for girls just like her 4 years ago, she smiled and said, "Work hard, dream big, and never give up."
Farrington High School in Kauai opened its doors in 1936. We are one of the oldest public schools. This year we celebrate our 75th anniversary. From Waianae Intermediate, we have a story about farmer Manny Miles, the manager of Mao Farms. As a farmer, he is carrying on a family tradition. Organic farming has changed his life. For instance, he no longer eats fast food. Let's listen in and see what he has to say.
Life at Mao Farm, peaceful, productive, and plenty of produce, especially for the co-manager. Meet 26-year-old Waianae resident Emmanuel Miles.
I graduated from Waianae High School back in 2002, and at that point in time I wanted to go to college in Indiana to play soccer.
But instead of playing in the mud, he's working with it. He's followed in his father's roots in becoming a farmer.
In a matter of 2 days, the same week, my nephew and my dad both passed away. My father and my nephew passing away definitely changed my life because just like the both of them have been like inspirations in my life.
Despite his darkest days, Manny knew the sun would rise again.
Even though like my dad and my nephew passing away has been like really hard on me emotionally, it's also been good for me too at the same time. A lot of things that I have learned was things that he taught me, like learning how to work outdoors, like, you know, like working here at Mao.
I think Manny is really an example of the kind of quality that you see in young adults in this community.
Manny's impact is changing people, but it was the farm that changed Manny.
My job made an impact on my life in a lot of different ways. One is like it showed me like how to have more respect like for the land. Ever since working at Mao, the food I eat is a lot healthier than the food I used to eat.
A lot healthier. In fact, he's avoided fast food restaurants in over 7 years. Manny's brightest days are still to come. He's changing his life, seed by seed. This is Oliana Moy from Waianae Intermediate School for HIKI NŌ.
Next week, HIKI NŌ will be coming to you from Kealakehe High School on Hawaii Island, with reports from Kapolei High School, Kahuku High and Intermediate School, Kaimuki Middle School, and St. Francis School on Oahu. We'll also hear from Kekula Ni'ihau o Kekaha Public Charter School on Kauai, Hana K-12 School will report from Maui, and Connection Public Charter School from Hawaii Island.
We hope you enjoyed this week's edition of HIKI NŌ, the nation's first statewide student news network. We think you'll agree that Farrington High School students HIKI NŌ can do.
We at Farrington High School in the Kalihi district of Honolulu were proud to be your hosts. We leave you now with images from the kickoff celebration for Farrington's 75th anniversary.
Broadcasts of HIKI NŌ are made possible by the support of viewers like you. Mahalo. And by Bank of Hawaii Foundation, investing in Hawaii's future by promoting collaboration, critical thinking, and other 21st century skills through HIKI NŌ.